Good evening everyone. So again, with the continuation of the second chapter, that is designing of components, we are going to see something more in this chapter with respect to the architectures what we are going to use in the microprocessors or in microcontrollers. In the last lecture, we have seen about the different types of processors or the different types of controllers whichever we can install, or whichever we can install the application that we can work according to the domain field. So now we are going to see something more about the architectures which is going to applicable for the controller or processor. So here you can see there are two architectures. First one is the RISC architecture and the second one is the CISC. Okay, so let us see the difference between the RISC and the CISC. The first RISC is that it is going to be having the reduced instruction set. RISC stands for reduced instruction set computing, and the long form of CISC is the complex instruction set computing. And the next is it contains the lesser number of instructions in RISC architectures, where in CISC it is going to contain large number of instructions. While in RISC the instruction pipelining and increased execution speed, where in CISC the instruction pipelining is feature does not exist. Orthogonal instruction set, that means which allows each instruction to operate on any register and while using any addressing mode, and this CISC is a non-orthogonal set in which all instruction sets are allowed to operate on any register and use any addressing mode. This is the difference where orthogonal and non-orthogonal is used. So the operations are performed on the registers only in RISC, and those only the memories operated are loaded and stored into the RISC, while in CISC the operations are performed either on register or memory depending on the instructions. While in RISC the large number of registers are available, and in CISC the number of general purpose registers are very limited. The programmer needs to write more code to execute the task since the instructions are simpler ones. While the instructions in CISC are like macros in C language. The macros is the programmer language that achieves the desired functionality with a single instruction, which in turn provides to effect of using more simpler RISC instruction in RISC. In RISC, it is a single fixed length instructions, but the instructions which are available in CISC are variable length instructions. So that depending upon the output, the instruction set whatever used in RISC or whatever used in CISC, it is depending upon the fixed time domain or the particular application domain where you are going to use it. So the same it is given in RISC. As I told you earlier, RISC is nothing but the reduced instruction set computing. The name itself is suggesting the reduced. Reduced means it is going to have only less number of instructions with it, so that depending upon those few instructions only, we need to design the algorithm, we need to design the program where you can get the output of your application. It contains lesser number of instructions, the pipelining and the increased execution speed. As the instructions are less, the speed is going to get fast for this RISC architecture. Operations are performed on registers only when only memory operations are loaded and stored. The large number of registers are available. Next, the programmers need to write the code to execute a task since instructions are simpler ones. And next is, as I told you, it is a single fixed length instructions, less silicon usage and pin count for the instructions, and this RISC is with association with the hardware architecture which we have seen in last lecture. Similarly, the CISC, the complex instruction set computing. The name itself here says it is a complex. Complex means it is having some more advanced, not advanced, but some more instructions which compared to the RISC, and that might get the lengthy in your programming. By using number of instructions, the program may get lengthy. Instruction pipeline features does not exist in this CISC. As we have seen, the RISC is orthogonal while CISC is non-orthogonal. The operations, whatever it has been performed on CISC, are either on register or memory, depending upon the instruction whatever you are going to use. Either you want to fetch the instruction from registers or you want to fetch the instructions from memory. So depending upon this, the CISC is going to operate. And the number of general purpose registers are very limited in this CISC. Instructions are like macros in the C languages. The programmer can achieve this desired functionality with a single instruction, which in turn provides the effect of using more simple single instruction in RISC. So the comparatively, if you see RISC or CISC, the more you go for the RISC is the more advantage you are going to get. So as we have seen, CISC is a variable length instructions. So it can be either the hardware or it can be the non-human architecture. It is, as we have seen, the RISC is only for the hardware, but here due to the variable length instruction, any of both can be used, either the hardware or it can be used for the non-human architecture. Next, we are going to see the endianness. The endianness means the specifies the order in which the data has to be stored in the memory by the processor operation in a multi-byte systems. This endianness means what exactly? This endianness is the way in which the data is to be stored into the memory. Likewise, if you want to store it in a ascending order or you need to store it in a descending order, so depending upon the architecture, depending upon the instructions you are using in RISC or the CISC, you need to decide either it should be a 4 byte, 3 byte, 2 byte, what kind of instruction sets you are using. So depending upon that, the layer has to be prepared. So that is nothing but called as endianness, in which order you want to pick up the data, in which order you need to fetch the data is nothing but called as endianness. So depending upon the based on this endianness processors, there are two types. One is the little endian processors and the second one is big endian processors. So let us see in detail about what you mean by little endian and big endian. So the little endian means the lower order data byte is stored in the memory at the lowest address and the higher order data byte is stored at the highest address. If you see in this diagram, if you refer this diagram, here you can see how the data is to be fetched. Okay, suppose we are working on a little endian. So this little endian means the lower data byte, that if the data byte is 0, you need to first make a layer of data byte 0. If the data byte is consisting of 1, then make a layer of 1, then byte of 2, then byte of 3. Likewise, according to the 0 to 1 to 3, whatever the bytes you are using, it has to be stored first. Okay, that is nothing but called as little endian fashion. Next we are going to see the big endian. It means the higher order data bus is stored in the memory at the lowest part, here you can see, and the lower data of the data byte is stored as the highest address. Okay, means here you can see, for example, the 4-byte integer. Now if your 4-byte data is there, that it is been stored at here byte 3, byte 2, byte 1 and byte 0. What was in the Little Indian? The Little Indian byte 0 was here at the first place and the byte 3 was at the last place. So depending upon which fashion you are using, Big Indian or Little Indian, so depending upon that, this fashion is been utilized. Next we are going to see the microcontrollers. Many a times we have seen this microcontrollers, but each time we are going to see something different about the microcontrollers. The microcontroller is a highly integrated chip that contains a CPU. We know a microcontroller is consisting of a CPU, it is consisting of a RAM, it is consisting of a special as well as the general purpose register arrays. On chip flash memory or ROM memory it is utilized for the program storage, and it is also containing the interrupts, it is also containing the timers and the control units, and also it is containing the dedicated input output ports. So all the features this microcontroller is consisting, and the first microcontroller was designed by the Texas Instruments, that is TMS 1000, were in the world first time. So the some embedded system, while using this microcontroller, it is acquired according to the application what you are using. It was consisting of 8-bit controllers, or where somewhere for the superior performance means fast performance where you want, you can demand for the controllers which are having 16-bit or 32-bit controllers. So the instruction sets are also depending upon the way the application is going to run. Either it is 8-bit or either it can be a 16 or 32-bit. So the instruction sets of a microcontroller can be written in RISC or can be in a CISC, as we have seen just now. So microcontrollers are designed for either the general purpose application or special purpose application, depending upon the domain, that is nothing but the specific application for what you are designing the embedded system. Next processor we are going to see is the digital signal processors. Now these digital signal processors are more powerful purpose or special powerful as compared to that of the 16, 8 or 32-bit microprocessors. This is designed to meet the computational demands, some power constraints of today's embedded like audio, video, communication applications. Likewise, now we see nowadays everything is going online, right? So the quality of the audio, the quality of the video must be in high, it should be high quality. So you need high processors to develop such applications. So where you need high power, where you need high memory, where you need high quality of embedded applications, then you can use the digital signal processors. So the DSPs are 2 to 3 times faster than the general purpose microprocessors or the signal processing applications. Where this is why, because the architectural difference between the DSP and general purpose microprocessors. So the DSP implement the algorithm in hardware which speed up the execution. In DSP, as I told you, in DSP the algorithm is in hardware which speed up the execution, as it is consisting more about the power constraints for nowadays applications. The general purpose processor implements the algorithm in software, where the speed of the execution depends upon primarily on the clock for the processors. So what are the key units of the DSP which includes the program memory, which includes the data memory, and third, it is including the computational engine. So for the program memory, it is a memory for storing the program required for the DSP to process the data. Now the memory required for the processors, controllers and this DSP is somewhat different. So the program memory is used only for the programming to store,